Hello everybody, this is Phoenix Cindy, here with another Lizargon devlog. Quite a few things over the past 3 weeks, even with me going out of town for a bit, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Interactables and dialogue have a few more bug fixes and changes. You can now pause during interactions and dialogue, allowing you to quit and such if needed. No meditation during interactions and dialogue, though. That is only for actual gameplay. The player character now has its dialogue faces. I personally love these faces, especially the emotes I have for the more intense emotions. There's normal, happy, ecstatic, sad, depressed, etc. It's essentially what I did for this Phoenix Indie character, but for Funny Lizard. The current system also allows me to add any faces I need, just in case I need more. So if the Funny Lizard has a special face that is dedicated to just Funny Lizard, I can put in that funny face for just the Funny Lizard. Dialogue actually has bleeps now, so currently they're just temporary sounds, but I am able to put bleeps for dialogue, have them custom for each character. So I can have the player lizard have a different one than, let's say, an NPC lizard, have a boss have a different one from an enemy, etc., etc., etc. And finally, there is a small arrow indicator for interactables, so it's just telling you, hey, you can interact. I should have added this from the start, but you know what? We learn as we go. Next up are doors. Lizargon has doors now. It's essentially just an interactable that allows me to teleport the player to another location in the area. Once I start implementing more areas, I'll implement doors that can change which area is loaded. Should be simple. Hopefully. Alright, time for some movement-related tweaks and such, because the journey of making Lizargon's movement absolutely incredible is a never-ending one. First of all, I fixed a bug where the player could get locked in a crawl when landing and staying still. I don't know how I didn't catch that one earlier, but holy, it was some weird thing to do with slopes and colliders, and it was weird. Jumps now behave a little differently when you have an already existent upward velocity. It's a nerf, unfortunately, but it feels a lot better now. So jumping is still beneficial when you're moving upwards, don't worry, but it's just more consistent, feels better, and it's overall just more balanced. I also did some bug fixes and tweaks to platforms. Coyote time now works properly when jumping off of platforms and doing platform jumps. This does mean that there's some weird new tech when platforms are close to regular ground. When you do like a downward platform jump, it gets confusing, but hey, tech is all what Lizargon is. It's literally just movement tech game. Ceiling jumps have been balanced. Yes, another nerf. But this one was very, very much needed. I sort of implemented ceiling jumps in a whim and just made them way too powerful. They were essentially the insta-win button, which I don't want in Lizargon. I want Lizargon's insta-win button to be absolutely destroying your keyboard and or controller. So they are still powerful. Don't get me wrong. It's just they're less powerful. They're actually balanced, they actually feel nice to use, and they feel more like a advanced pro technique over just something that you would spam as a child. No offense against children, though. Like, they're fine. Okay, enough movement stuff. Onto model smearing. Model smearing now has a max smear amount, along with an increased smear reduction rate. Just makes it look and feel better. More Autumn Treetops progress. It isn't much, since I was working on fixing and tweaking a lot of other stuff, but there is some dialogues here and such. Hopefully now I can focus on constructing this monstrosity of a game level. And finally, the last thing I'm going to go over in this devlog. This is something that might make at least one of you a little sad, just warning you, but after a lot of thought and testing, I decided to remove parrying from Lizargon. I mean, the code is still technically there, it would be a pain to remove, but I just won't make any enemies parryable ever. Parrying is not part of Lizargon. Allow me to defend myself. For a parry in any game, you need 3 things. The enemy attack, the reaction timing, and a positioning. An enemy attack, well, the enemy needs to attack you. Simple-ish. When you're moving super fast, enemies sort of just attack you. They try to hit you, but it's trying to hit a bullet out of the air. And that's the point. Lizargon, you're supposed to feel like a super fast bullet through the air, piercing through enemies, shredding through levels, etc. But second, the timing and reaction. That one gets a little more iffy, because not only do you have to react to, oh, look, there's an enemy in front of me, you have to try to time your attack to sync up with the enemy's attack, which is very hard to do, especially since Lizargon is mainly movement. You are supposed to put almost all your attention on the movement, with attacking being sort of a secondary reaction. Then there's positioning, which is the worst part of the parry. You need to position yourself to be able to hit the enemy at the perfect time, and at the perfect distance. It just doesn't really work. And that's not just a Lizargon issue, that's just parrying. And that works fine in most games, but it just really doesn't fit Lizargon. So yeah, no more parrying. But in my opinion, this decision will make the game a lot better and a lot closer to my vision. Alright, and that's it. Everything I've been able to do for Lizargon in these last 3 weeks. Next up, I'm going to just work away on Autumn Treetops, get more progress in that area, get it feeling right. Until next time, bye!